What's up, weirdos? Welcome back to my 12 Days of Horror, and today we're moving a little bit out of the horror comedy land to talk about Rare Exports from 2010. This movie takes place in Finland, where they're having an archaeological dig on Christmas Eve, and we follow and get ready, people, because I am fully going to butcher every Finnish name in this video. Pietari? I even hear them say it in the movie and I'm like, what? Anyways, he's suspicious of the creature they're digging up and suspects it to be an evil Santa Claus. This movie takes place in the mountains of Finland, and the families there are having a hard time, and it really feels like a family drama movie that also has like the dark side of Christmas really emphasized. But don't worry, there's plenty of absurd Santa stuff to get you through, but I'll get to that in a little bit. Now, the first thing I'm going to say that I love about this movie is the heart. There is so much heart in this movie. The dad, played by Rano Kontio or something like that, is amazing. He's doing everything he can to care for his son as a single dad, and there were literally scenes of him crying that like really got me, because like dad's crying, I just like can't. And the little kid in the movie is just like such a great actor and character. He goes from this like little scared kid that everyone's really bossing around to the hero of the movie. And now I'm gonna go ahead and get to my fun fact a little early and get ready for the most beautiful thing you've ever heard. The father and son in this movie are actually father and son in real life. Feel free to grab a tissue. It is beautiful. They did this movie together, and I think that's why the relationship between them in the movie is like so specific and amazing. Like, it's so believable because it's real. I also think this movie is really smart about where they're pulling their horror from. They really look at the creepier sides of Santa Claus, like this dude that's obsessed with kids, that's like an old man, he sneaks into your house, and they just like amplify that for the movie. And it's nice to see Santa as a villain in this one versus bringing in the dark side of Krampus or something like that. They just stick with Santa, and I think that's pretty cool. I'll also say that the last 30 minutes are like crazy town. It like turns into an adventure horror movie of sorts, and it's really fun to watch. Now let's get to some ratings. So for the scare, I'm giving it a 2, even though it's a lot more like rooted in realism than the other films I've reviewed on this series. I didn't really find it that scary. There are like some characters that I find scary that I'll get into the spoilers, but overall, not a super scary film. Gore gets a 2, there's not that much gore for me. And the cheese gets a 2. It would get a 1 if it wasn't for like the last 10 minutes of the movie that are just like batshit crazy. But overall, it's not really that cheesy. And overall, this movie gets a 4 from me. I really liked it a lot. It feels special to me because it's just so different from the other holiday themed horror movies that I've watched this month. It doesn't rely on Christmas humor or cheap scares to make the movie exciting. It really just pulls apart what's actually scary about the holiday and puts it on screen. And now for the spoilers. So the scariest part of this movie for me is the old men that actually end up being elves. At first they think this one elf is Santa Claus. Turns out no, there's just like hundreds of old men that are naked, running around the snow, stealing children, and they are fully naked and dirty and old, and it's just like very disturbing. I do not like it, but it was brilliant. And like I said, so the most absurd parts of this movie come at the end. So they end up blowing up Santa Claus, who is the elves, you know, master, and our leading character, Pietari or whatever, handles all this, and it leads this charge, and it's amazing and super epic. But then they're like, what do we do with all these naked old men? And so they decide they're going to train them to become Santa Clauses and send them to various countries around the world to be Santa Claus. And what was confusing for me was why anyone is going to pay them, because like they need money. That's like the main thing. They're trying to get money. And so like someone's gonna pay them money for these Santa Clauses they ship to them in a crate. I found that confusing, but it was really funny. But once again, I'll say the main thing that I like about this movie is the family and the relationships between this mountain community are really strong, and I just like really appreciated that this movie really was a different kind of holiday horror film than the rest of the ones I've seen. But that's it for me today, so if you've seen it, let me know what you thought down below. If you're gonna watch it, let me know when you do, and have a nice scream. Bye!